now it's just Paul. Yeah. So I don't know what to say, but I'll let you guys decide what you think about that. Down here, you do see a significant decline in the master's. The undergrad's up 5.7. So this is just undergrad. And then I did master's degrees, big drop, small increase in doctoral students, and then certificate and other students making up the rest. Here's tuition. A lot here, but so I just threw this, again, I wanted to get everything out here, and these are all numbers made up, but we'll break these down. But you can just see the tuition going from 8,800 to 13. You can see how you see tuition flat now for 3 years. And I think this is, I mean, we're living with this. This is what it is right now. This is not 100% determined yet. I assume the Board of Trustees is going to set that fairly soon. I can't imagine it's going to change very much from that. You can see the fees are different. Room and board. This is what it costs to send your son or daughter as an in-state student to go to school here. This is here. This is in Durham. Almost $27,000. If you're an out-of-state student, almost $40,000. And you have a lot of out-of-state students who are paying that tuition. And the room and board are not negligible costs because you have a large percentage of kids living in the dorms in most public, many public universities. A lot of your kids live in the dorms here. I noticed that. Has that always been the case, or is that, for those of you who've been here a while? Someone had their hand up? Yes?
Would that be the 26.9 and the 39.8? Would those be the comprehensive cost of education that
they put out? Well, I think it'd be pretty close. I mean, I'm using the fact book here to get me the tuition. It's got to be pretty close. Here's the tuition over time, 55% increase, and then frozen for the 2 years, 14 and 15. Now, here's what I found. Now, I answered your question. This was surprising. I looked at the ratio of non-resident tuition, which is always higher, to resident tuition, and see what that ratio was. First, on a level, it was about 2.5 here. It's typically 2.5 to 3 times as expensive at a public university for a non-resident. That's typically what it is. And then you could see over these 5 years, they made it much more attractive for out-of-state students and much less attractive for in-state students. I don't think there's been a stampede away from this, but people in this state have responded to this. And I do not know, and I'm not claiming that this was a strategy. Maybe it was the right strategy, I have no idea. But there was definitely a strategy. This does not happen by accident. This does not happen by accident. And it helps, because you're bringing in more out-of-state students. But the only thing I have for that, it could be short-term. That kind of, because you're still the flagship university in the state. And when you try to make it much more attractive for out-of-state students, you may lose something. And you may lose that reputation of being the place that people really want to go, who live here, are born here, and want to spend the rest of their lives here. So I think my view is that this is that it's short, and maybe they decided, you know what, we're not doing this. And they did raise, if you look at the tuition, look at the non-resident. They raised it, but hardly at all. You can see how it went up just a couple $100. So that's why the graph is even going up again. You can see it's hard to tell. I think you can see it. You can see there's a slight upward tilt in that graph. That means they're charging, the relationship between non-res and res has gone up again. So I think it's something you should always, who knows what they're thinking? But when they start talking about these things at the table, about mix and level of student, you should know as much as them. Yes?
But it is also more in keeping with the private university model,
Yeah,
right?
it is. It is. Because the out-of-state students are like, they're 40 grand a year. We're getting close. I think St. Anthony, I think I saw that the place in Manchester was like 45 a year tuition, room and board, which isn't that dissimilar from 30. So if I have to choose a private school of 45 or if I'm looking to move from, if I'm a resident in Pennsylvania and I'm thinking of going to school here, I'm looking at a private school at 45 or an in-state school at 40, I look at the class size, stuff like that, I may choose that private university. I don't know, I'm not saying that's definitely happening, but I think this is kind of stuff you should know. Someone, yes, young man.
So The increase over 2008 to 2013 in tuition was approximately 55%. How does that compare to the national average in tuition?
That's an excellent point. It's lower. That increase is actually lower.
Okay.
But remember, there's levels and there's changes. You're starting from a higher base. New Hampshire is first. So the percentage change is going to be lower because of the number you're starting. So it's a good point. I should have had this percentage increase is definitely lower than other states. California, this is over 100% change.
But I mean, where you're starting from a lower baseline, it's not
Yeah.
an argument that you can make that the change is smaller.
Yeah,
Simply because you're raising it 55%, another state raises it 100%, they're still not going to be at the level that we are.
and I think what's important is that the citizens here and their families, they pay here. They're not all that interested sometimes in what it is in California,
Right.
because they have to pay that high level and those change, but it's still relevant. It's still, I think, I guess that Board of Trustees look exactly what you just said. My guess is they look at that 55%, but still, you don't see, I don't think I've seen this any place I've been. I've seen 1 year freezes, I have not seen a 2 year anywhere. Yes?
We actually have 3 categories of students here. We have in-state, we have out-of-state.
And then you have the specialty.
Out of country.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and did you come across the name Navitas in your
Yeah.
research?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the company in Australia that brings in foreign students, matches them with universities.
Families?
We've gone from 30 of those 3 years ago to almost 300 now. They're the ones who pay the sticker price.
Yeah, they're paying 40 grand.
They pay the whole sticker price. What's happened is that we've had a slight decrease in out-of-state students to make room for those kids.
And so together it's still larger. That's an
Also
excellent.
going in the summer.
And
They go
in
through the summer, so they're paying
right.
added tuition.
Yeah.
All right, this is busy, I know this is busy. What I'm trying to do here, I don't know how well, but let me go through it. The green bar, I'm trying to explain tuition revenue, the #1 revenue source. So that's the green bar. And I'm saying it has 4 components to it, though it has a lot more. So it's got resident enrollment, non-resident enrollment, resident tuition, and non-resident tuition. You put those 4 things in the mix, you stir, and you get outspits tuition revenue. And so what we've seen is significant and big increase in tuition revenue here when they jacked up, they jacked up tuition 12% and 13% just here and here. And now, the light green is 0 here. It's 0. There's a 0%, you know what I'm saying? That blue, when I look at fall 13 versus fall 12, there's an enrollment decline here overall. And there's the non-resident tuition going up about 1%. So there's the lighter green, this green is 0. This green is about a 1% increase in the non-resident tuition. And there's the non-resident enrollment going up and resident enrollment going down. So I don't know the answer. There's no dark green bar because the year doesn't end until June 30th or 14th. So I don't know what the green bar is going to be. My guess is it's going to be smaller than this. It's going to be positive. It's probably going to be in the 3% range. That's my guess. All right, how are they spending the money? This is system-wide. We'll get into the campus in a second. 30% on instruction, 17% on research, and then everything else. Upper level administration, the good bad guys, or that's them. That's your president, your vice president, your provost, nothing else in there. Student services is mostly helping people with just making sure they're not killing each other. You gotta watch these kids. Don't you gotta watch them?
Yeah.
You can't just throw them on campus without watching them. Academic support, the library, I think I was just at the library, Indiana, you may be a librarian, I didn't know.
Underneath.
Yeah. The library's in here. Library's in here. The academic advisors are in here. The academic deans are in here. The associate deans are in here. So you get to hang with the deans and the associate. The department chairs are in here. This is everyone teaching. So this is just UNH. Okay, just isolating here in Durham. And it's not, when you look at these pie charts, more research here, right? But not that different overall. this is what the numbers look, these are the numbers that I put in, these are the numbers in all this. And you can see the dollars for instruction going down, the dollars for institutional support going up. In general, you should ask why. Why you guys getting more and we're getting less, but we'll leave that for another day. I just thought, again, you never know what you're going to find when you do this, and I just looked at this and said, auxiliary revenues look higher than auxiliary expenses. And they are. Athletics is not close to self-supporting, we'll find that out, but auxiliaries are. Then I looked at the salaries and benefits, and they break this out for the audit statement. So these numbers here, this is salaries and benefits of everybody teaching, all the people represented here, not just, so, but it also includes part-time faculty. You guys have a sizable number of part-time faculty. They're also, so this is everybody who's teaching. This is all the upper level admins, this is just, and this is total compensation. So everybody who teaches is 42% of total expenses. People think that the faculty are 90% of the cost. 42% of just compensation. Not the total, just compensation. Just compensation is instruction, 10% is the good guys. These are the percentage changes in instruction with institutional support. Looking at a longer term and a shorter term view, institutional support goes up more than instruction, whether you look short. From 11 to 13, that's from here to here. You see that decline? 199 to 193? Well, this is going from 42 to 45. May not look like much, but for the units that we're describing here, the full-time faculty and the lecturers, $1 million is huge. Huge number to shift, and it's not right. Again, looking only at UNH, and I only have 2012 for iPads. Instruction going up 13%, benefits going up 23, total 16. For the admins, they went up. Shocking. Now here, I'm not using iPads. I'm using the fact book here. You guys have a fact book, which is, iPad says there are 190 managerial, executive, and administrative employees. They have a new category in 2013, 344, but according to your fact book, there are 33 administrators. They said this is 33. This is the tenure and tenure track faculty, and I think this is fairly steady, but you can see there's been a bit of a decline here over the last couple of years. I don't know if that's true, Deanna.
Yeah.
And they're not laying anybody off, they're just not replacing. It's easy.
Right.
Just do nothing. Here's the lecturer group, big increase here, and you can see a steady increase there. All right, let's put the lecturer salaries in context. And again, what I did was, Kira sent me a file that was 2 years old, so I added about 10% to it. Some of you guys got some raises the last 2 years, which I'm told you did. The mean salary right now is about 52, the median about 45. And you sent me something just today, which was right about those numbers. So that's what the lecturer, that's what it looks like. I'm not saying whether that's good or bad, that's just what it is. Benefits is a little high. So the total salaries and benefits of all 190 of you is that. Total UNH salaries and benefits. So of all the people get paid here, the lecturers get paid 4 cents out of the dollar of all everyone gets paid. That's it. If you include all UNH expenses, lecturers are less than 3% of the whole thing. They could, as I'll show you, they can easily afford to give you guys a lot more than they do. When I add the tenure track faculty, here I'm using the AEP faculty salary survey, about 87, and this is the most current data, 13-14 data. 87 million. You guys are 26% of all compensation, 18% of all expenses. The difference between the 328 and the 480, this is comp, this is everything else. This is not, this is electricity, vendors, outside contractors, etc. So, and it's usually the case that about you've heard this and it's true, about 2 out of every $3 at a university is for personnel. And you can see that here, 320 over 480 is almost exactly, so 480 is is this campus. Again, I'm only talking right now about this campus only. So when you add everybody up, the compensation, the lecturers, And the full-time faculty, you guys have 31% of compensation and 21% of the total expenses. That's it. That is it.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the way it is. That is crazy, but it's the way it is. I,
Howard?
So
Yes.
what's an average